Hello, I'm Brennan Jones, and this is my ARP on the growth of esports. Now, the main question driving my research has been, what have the major impacts on the growth of esports been, and how will the esports scene continue to progress going into the future? Now, the first thing that needs to be covered is, what are esports? In its entirety, esports are video games played at professional levels. So whether this be games a lot of people know such as Fortnite or Madden, or it could be League of Legends and StarCraft, which aren't as well known but still have very popular fan bases. These games, much like regular sports, are played in large stadiums with thousands of fans watching, and for this instance it is players at their computers with the main gameplay being projected onto the screen. Now, when it comes to the growth of esports, monetarily, you can see the prize money development from 2015 to 2005 to 2016 in this graph. And you can see just in recent years, starting around 2012, there has been a huge blow up in the prize money globally. So esports have been around for decades at this point, but only in recent years have we really seen a major growth in viewership, advertisement, and fan bases and player bases for esports. You can also tell from the circle at the top that North America has been putting in the most for prize money in recent times, while Korea, China, and some of the Asian countries have the biggest esports scenes. Now, this chart shows the revenue per stream in 2017, and you can see that it has a 41.3% increase since 2016, which, from the previous chart we'd seen, already had exponential growth. You can also note that the majority of the money in esports is coming from sponsorships. Though there is a lot in advertising, the vast majority of money is coming from big sponsorships like Kia, Honda, Toyota, and lots of food and gaming companies as well. If you were to compare esports to traditional sports, you would still see that there are far larger fan bases and even online populations in traditional sports versus esports. Now, the main reason for this is that esports is a very new type of competition and does not have those existing fan bases to go off of, which is why you see numbers like the 51 to 65 age range being so low for esports, while it has catching up to hockey in the younger age ranges of 21 to 35 and 10 to 20. Because of this chart, you can see that the numbers for esports are likely to continue growing as it is a younger audience that is getting more involved, and likely in 2 decades we will see this at the same level as hockey is right now. Alright, now I would like to take a little bit of a look outside of the growth aspects and see more about high school and colleges and getting others involved. Rather than the charts, we are seeing what has actually been happening. So, for games like League of Legends, they've been getting lots of colleges involved, and there is, like a Big Ten basically in League of Legends for college teams. And there are now colleges giving out scholarships and, lots of money for playing video games. So it is becoming more of nearly a varsity sport. As for the HSCL, or High School Esports League, this is an organization that has been giving high school students chances to compete for scholarships and for prize money in just their respective video games, whether it be Fortnite or NBA or Madden, Super Smash Bros, and so on. It's giving lots of kids other chances to get involved at a younger age, thus further promoting the publicity of esports as a whole. Alright, now this is a very small scale image of all the schools or competitors in the High School Esports League. This is showing specifically Michigan, but this shows all over the US. And to see so many schools in just our area in Chicago and Michigan is absolutely wonderful to see. There are lots and lots of people beginning to participate in these events, and it is wonderful to know that there is an active search for this type of game, as you can even find advertisements relatively easily for it online, depending on what you generally search. Now, when it comes to the product of my project and my research, it has been with the intent of bringing esports to Liggett, which through the High School Esports League that I mentioned on the previous 2 slides, I succeeded in doing. We created an esports team at Liggett, with 3 players playing in Rocket League and a multitude of players in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Had students known about the events that were to come with quarantine and all this pandemic beforehand, I'm sure lots more students would have been involved in things such as NBA 2K or Madden. But so many were committed to their sports beforehand that we did not see a massive influx of students, but still enough to get this league started, which was my overall goal. This is the first year of Liggett being partnered with the HSEL, and to even just have, a slight dozen-player involvement that we did is massive for the first year of esports at Liggett. And although all my involvement in esports and this league has been absolutely amazing, one of the questions I've been faced with and asked the most throughout this project is, why should others get involved in esports? Now, this is a very big question because, it's like, why should someone play football? But for this, esports is a very young scene. It has been going on for many years, but only now is it starting to reach its peak. And there is still so much more to come for me to even say at its peak is a very bold word. But it's a very young scene, and there are actual futures in this industry. It is growing, and there are many chances to get involved in this market as it continues to grow, whether it be as a player or someone involved on one of the teams or even staff for one of the games as a whole. But most importantly, what this does on a smaller, more local scale that we're working on is it gives so many students a chance to get involved in something they might not have thought possible before. There are many sports at Liggett that I had an interest in, but not anything super strongly affiliated with, where if this esports league had been involved in Liggett since my freshman year, I would have jumped on that in a heartbeat. And I know there are many students currently in high school or going into high school that would love the same opportunity. It gives you a chance to create a community that could not have existed so easily at our school beforehand. It gives people that may not want to play these sports another option, something that they actually care about and can now. It gives a chance for them to find a future in this field as well. Something that they might not have even considered, no matter how possible it was beforehand. Thank you.